Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be making this beautiful pencil skirt with hip and boot contour. If this is what you really want to learn to do, please I will say let you stay tuned to this channel. Watch this video to the end. And if it's your first time coming across my video, you're very much welcome. And please do wait to subscribe to this channel. To my returning subscribers, thank you for always watching my video. So guys, we are going to go into the business of the day. We are going to start cutting this skirt. But before then, we are going to be having a little adjustment to make. There are a little calculation we are going to be making concerning the cutting of this particular skirt. So guys, you know that normally we divide our hip by 4. But in this case, we are going to be dividing our hip by 4, but we'll be having a little adjustment. We are going to be having a little adjustment. So now our hip divided by 4, whatever it gave us, we will go ahead and start sharing that into the front and the back piece of this particular skirt. For the front, you go ahead and divide your hip circumference by 4. And when you divide it by 4, you'll be minusing 1 inches. But this is totally depending on the size of the boot you are working with. If it's a plus size, I advise you add 1.5 or 2 inches. And then for the back hip, you'll be dividing your back hip by 4. That is your total hip circumference by 4. And you go ahead and add whatever you remove from the front hip back to the back hip so that you can have your back hip measurement. So that is just what you're going to do. It's very easy. Just go ahead and add whatever you remove from the front to the back. If it's 1 inch, you add it back to the back hip circumference. If it's 1.5, you go ahead and add it back. So guys, we'll now go ahead to fold our fabric into 2. We'll be cutting this piece separately. We'll be cutting the back separately from the front. So that is totally what we are going to be doing. So for us to get our working space, you will go ahead and divide your hip by 4 because that is the biggest part of your body that we are working with right now. Your hip divided by 4, and you'll be adding your seam allowance to whatever you have in your hip measurement. So that totally becomes your working space. Now we'll go ahead and start taking our horizontal line. So we will be minusing 2 inches from the top of this skirt because our 2 inches will be serving as our band. Go ahead and insert your hip line, your upper knee line, and the full length of the dress. So my knee line was 9, my upper knee was 22. So now we'll be going ahead to insert our waist circumference. So our waist circumference divided by 4, whatever it gave us, we inserted it there and we added 1 inch for our dart. So now at the hip, we divided our hip by 4, and whatever we had, we went ahead to minus 1 inch because I'm just a medium sized person. I went ahead to add 1 inch. I went ahead to minus 1 inch, I mean to say. Then at the upper knee, whatever I have at my hip, I went ahead to minus 1.5 inch so that I can have my upper knee measurement. And what I had at that upper knee, that was the same thing I went ahead to insert at the full length of the skirt. So I'll just go ahead and connect all the dots together. So just go ahead and connect all the lines together. So guys, once we are done doing this, we'll be going at the center of this front skirt. We'll be going down by 1/2 inch, and at the side you'll be going up by 1/2 inch. So you'll be connecting those 2 lines together because you want to eliminate every sort of bulkiness at this part. So now we went ahead to insert our seam allowance. That is what we are going to be using to be closing this particular skirt at the side. I added 1.5 inch for my seam allowance, and I'll go ahead and connect these together. So I'll just be connecting them together. So we'll go ahead and cut it out as you see me doing. So guys, at the down part of this skirt, I folded the excess allowance so that I can cut it out, because part of this will be serving as the lining piece of this skirt. So you have to fold it out so you avoid any shortage while lining up your skirt. So this is all. So now guys, we are at the back part. We have fold our fabric into two. So we have fold our fabric into two, and this is the part that has the major work. This is where we are going to be doing the contour and everything. So at the center back, I went ahead to mark 2 inches for our zipper allowance. But for now, this won't be the zipper allowance. We are going to be making some adjustments. So I went ahead to mark 2 inches for the zipper allowance, and I'm connecting all the lines together. So once I was done marking the 2 inches for the zipper allowance, I will go ahead to start taking our horizontal measurement. So I went ahead to take our hip line, which is 9, as you can see. Mind you, we are minusing 2 inches for the waistband. So our underboot line, for me, my underboot is 16. That is from your waist to your underboot. Then the upper knee line, I went ahead to mark it, and the full length of the skirt. So I'll go ahead and extend those lines to the other side of this material that I'm working with. So I'm just making sure that I'm having a very straight line at that part. So at the waist part, you want to go in by 1 inch at the waist part. Then at the under boot, I'll be taking 0.75 for the under boot contour. Depending, if you're working with a plus size, I'd advise you take 1 inch for the under boot contour. And whatever you have at the under boot, just go ahead and insert it at the upper knee line and also at the full length of your skirt. So from there, you'll be having a straight line. So just connect all those lines together, connect the waist back to the hip. So now this automatically becomes your new line you'll be working with, because our back isn't that straight. So that is why we have to do all this contour on it. So now at the waist, you'll be taking your waist measurement plus 1.5 inch. I prefer taking 1.5 inch for the back dart and 1 inch for the front dart. So at the hip, you go ahead and divide your hip by 4. Whatever you have, you go ahead and add whatever you took out from the front hip circumference. You go ahead and add it. If it's 1 inch, you add back the 1 inch. So there at the under boot contour, at the under boot, you want to also minus 1.5 inch from whatever you have at your hip. You go ahead and insert it at the under boot. And whatever you insert at the under boot of your skirt, you will also go ahead and insert it at your upper knee and at the full length of this particular skirt. So you just go ahead and connect all those dots together. So guys, once I'm done connecting to this together, I'll now go ahead to take my zipper allowance at the center part of this back skirt. So I'm using a zipper allowance of 1.5 inch. So I went ahead to mark that 1.5 inch all through. From all those lines that I made an adjustment on. So I went ahead to mark 1.5 inch. So I'll go ahead and connect it as you see me doing. I'll be using my hip cuff to connect it back to the hip, and I'll be connecting it back to the waist as you can see me doing. So once I was done with the zipper allowance, I'll also be taking our seam allowance at the side. So we'll go ahead to add our seam allowance at the side, and I'm also taking 1.5 inch for that seam allowance. So just go ahead and connect all the dots together. So once I'm done with this, I'll go ahead and cut it out. We'll be cutting it out. So just cut from your seam allowance. So guys, you really want to do an adjustment at that side of your skirt. You'll be going up by half an inch. Remember, we went up by half an inch at the front part. You want these two pieces to align when you join them together. So do not forget to go up by half an inch at the side of this back part. But at the center part, you will not be taking out any half inch. You will just leave it like that. So you will just go up by half an inch. So now go ahead and continue cutting out this piece. So at the down part of this skirt, you really want to fold this as you did in the front part to avoid any shortage while lining up your skirt. Because if you cut it up straight, you find out that while lining it up, you'll be having some shortage at the side. So you go ahead and fold it in, fold the excess in and cut out. So guys, we are done with the cutting of this part. I'll go ahead to share with you guys how you go about cutting the lining for this particular skirt, because we are going to be lining it up. So guys, I've gone ahead to fold my lining into two, but I'll just be cutting out one piece, that is the center, the front part of the skirt. I've cut out the back part of the camera. So I really want to share with you guys how you go about cutting out your lining for your skirt. Even if you are cutting for the short skirt, for the long one, the same process. This is how you're going to go about cutting the lining part of your skirt. Just watch this carefully so you get what I'm saying. So just make sure that you adjust your fabric very to align with your lining. Adjust the main material to align with your lining. And now this is the down part of the skirt. So at this down part, you really want to fold in the part that will be serving as the remaining part of the lining. So you really want to fold it in like so, because you will be cutting exactly the full length of your skirt. So you know we have an excess on it. So we are going to be cutting from that black part. So not there. You won't be cutting from here, but rather you'll be cutting from this black part that you can see me pointing. So now I'll be showing you guys how you cut. Just watch me cut through. Just watch how I'm cutting it. So guys, we'll be stopping there. You really want to fold in the part that you really want to fold in that part that you'll be folding with the lining. So now just go ahead and bend this like so and cut it out. As you can see, I didn't cut exactly on the remaining fabric. I'll be showing you guys what it will look like. So I'll be showing you guys why I didn't cut from the full length of this skirt. So now this is where our lining is. When you bring out this lining and put on top this skirt, you find out that you're having excess. Yeah, the lining is not up to the full length of the skirt, but when you fold it in, you'll now see what I mean by that. So this will be serving as the remaining part of the lining, while the lining part will just be there. So this is how you go about cutting the full lining of a long skirt. And I'll be showing you guys the same thing I did at the back. So this is our lining piece for the back as well. So this is the lining part for the front. So guys, you go ahead and put this lining at the front part of your skirt. So the lining will be facing the front part for now. You will now go ahead and stitch. It won't be at the back, but you'll be sewing from the front, because you'll be flipping this over to the back later on. So guys, this is what it's looking like right now. I'm done closing the site for this particular part. I'm just using one part to show you guys an illustration. The other part I've done that out behind the camera. So this is what the other part is looking like. I've done that. I've flipped it over. I've given it a nice press, and I've also put our dart. So I've also did that for the front as well. So I'll go ahead and show you guys how to go about flipping the lining over so that you can see what I'm doing. So this is it. You go ahead and bring out the lining out. Now you will see that you are left with the front part. After bringing out the lining piece, you find out that it's your front part that you are left with. So you now go ahead and give this a very nice press and take in your dart. So guys, I'm done pressing this and I've taken the dart part of this skirt. So this is the back. I will now go ahead to close the zipper allowance for the back. So I'll be joining the two sides together. So at this back part, I'll be joining the two sides together, as you can see me doing. So now I just went ahead to measure our zipper allowance. So we'll be taking in 1 inch for the zipper allowance because we have used the ½ inch to turn up the lining. So this is what it's looking like. If you see, the boot is already out. The hip part of this skirt, that is the boot part, is already out. So you now go ahead to introduce your front pattern to it. So you find out that when you put your front part to the back part and there is enough excess at the back is bigger than the front, especially because of that additional hip part that you added at the back. But don't worry, you will just go ahead and stitch it, close it up with your seam allowance. So guys, you can see what it's looking like right now. I'm done joining the back and the front together. So this is what it's looking like right now. So we'll go ahead and bring our waistband and put it. You can see there's an excess at the back. The back is looking bigger than the front, which is supposed to be. So now this is our band. So the waistband, the length I use for this is my waist circumference plus 3 inches for the zipper allowance, and the width of the waistband is 2.5. So we'll be using, that is 2.5 on a fold. We'll be using ½ inch to close this. So I'll go ahead and iron this and bring it back to you guys and show you guys how you go about attaching your waistband. So guys, this is what our waistband is looking like. We have stitched one part of this waistband, so we want to use the other part and close it like so. So we want this to be an inseam finishing, very neat. You won't be seeing any part. There's no need for your weaving machine because everything will be neat in and out. So just go ahead and close it like this. So guys, I'm done putting my waistband and this is what it's looking like. So I'll now go ahead and insert our zipper. So guys, we are done with this masterpiece. As you can see, it's looking so beautiful. This is the zip part. As you can see, the zip is looking so nice. So now you go ahead to open your the back opening. So you just go ahead and open it up like so to your desired length, where you want this to be, where you want it to be open at the back. So you just go ahead and open it, and when you are done open it, you just tag it with your needle and thread, hand needle and thread, tag it so that you won't be seeing what you did at the back. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you.